Rev up your engines!
Well, Stellantis is at it again, proving they're a European company. They are now closing their Arizona proving grounds and selling the property where they tested out cars and stuff. They're now shutting that down, getting out of the United States. Now, it's a giant place. It's 4,000 acres, so they'll get some serious money for it, right? But it just shows they're leaving the United States. Proving grounds take a lot. They have bumps and hills and all kinds of stuff. So they got 4,000 acres that they're selling in Arizona now. You want to buy 4,000 acres from Stellantis in Arizona? They're pulling out of the United States. A fool can see that, right? And these union guys that cut a deal with it, do they really think this European company gives a crap about American workers? Of course they don't. They're selling out. They're getting the heck out. They're getting rid of all their assets. Shows if they're getting rid of their proving grounds here, they're not going to be doing much research here either in the United States. They'll go back to Europe and do it. I say, good riddance. Why don't you just sell Chrysler back to the guy who's like the great-grandson of the Chrysler guy and let us have it back and forget? Because you don't know what the heck's going on in the United States. I love reading the electric journals, right? This particular one is Electric Tech, and here's their headline: 2025 Mustang Mach-E drops with heat pump, smaller front, $36,000 price and more. And they brag about all this. So I'm like, wait a second, 36 grand. So I get my phone and I look at local prices, right? 36 grand. They go anywhere from $50,000 to $65,000 if you actually want to buy one locally. I checked it out, right? They make up this horse manure that, well, there's a 36, but we don't have any $36,000 ones, but we got a $56,000 and we got a $62,000 one on the lot. You want to buy it, right? All this stuff is such a load of horse manure. They tell you the price, and of course it doesn't include tax, title, destination charges, which is a ton more money, but neither did the prices that I'm quoting you. That's their price at a dealership, and it doesn't include tax, title, and license, all this stuff either. So they lie on the internet about, oh, it's only 36, look, the lower price. No, it isn't. If Ford actually was selling those things at $36,000, they'd be losing even more money than they're losing now. According to a recent estimate, Ford's going to lose about $5 billion this year, 2024, making electric cars, right? And if they were trying to sell these things for 36 grand, they'd be losing more than $5 billion probably. You know, you go to the dealers, anybody ever tells you, oh yeah, you can get this for $20,000. Go to a dealer and see what they actually cost. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 times the little price. They just make up stuff, right? And the thing is, people don't like the Mustang Mach-E's. They're not good sellers. Now, I'm on the East Coast where all the rich people are. And you know how many Mustang Mach-E's I've seen? I've seen 2. Well, actually, it was 1. It was the same guy. I saw him twice when we were driving through Providence early in the morning. It was the same guy, had the same license plate, and it was the same color Mach-E, so it was the same one. So I've seen 1 Mustang Mach-E on the East Coast the whole time I've been here. Just 1. I see lots of Teslas, but I've only seen 1 Mach-E. They're not popular vehicles. They're not popular with the Mustang people, and they're not popular with the electric car people either. It's like in a no man's land. And of course, to make matters even worse, they're all made in Mexico. Oh, what a great quality place to build an electric vehicle. Mexico. Why are they doing it? Because the labor's cheaper there. A Tesla big investor by the name of Ross Gerber says it's game over for Google self-driving robo-taxi stuff because he says Waymo is beating them to the punch and they'll never catch up. Now, Ross Gerber, who's the chief executive officer of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth Fund and is a prominent investor in Tesla, said Google has the money and resources to scale globally for self-driving. Costs will come down and their system will have several revenue sources like ads. Realize Google's the largest advertising company in the world with YouTube and everything else. They are the largest advertisers, so they can sell a lot of advertising. They'll certainly have Waymo cab. Guess what's going to happen? There'll be ads all over the place, you know. Probably on your phone, too, when you order the thing. He says, and I quote, yesterday a Waymo came up to us. They're everywhere in West LA. Wasn't sure why I was there. Then a girl came out, professed her love for Waymo and took off. Robotaxi's been solved by Google. It works. Game over. And he's talking about game over for Tesla, thinking that he's going to have his robotaxi. Yeah, I agree entirely. He's so far behind that stuff that it would make your head spin. He's all talk while Waymo's actually doing things. And, of course, now, it is in West LA, the land of la loonies. So, can you bring that out to the rest of the world? Well, most of the rest of the United States isn't mainly populated by out-of-work actors, right? I remember the last time I went to LA, I took an Uber. Every time I got an Uber, they found out I was big on YouTube. They're like, oh, could we act in your stuff? Or could we write stuff? Could we make music for you? They're all unemployed actors and musicians. A lot of them. The young ones especially. So, they'll fall for anything. I personally don't think this self-driving taxi stuff is going to go, if ever, large scale anywhere. The fact that this guy who invests in Tesla is saying pretty much forget the robo-taxi, Waymo's already so far ahead, kind of makes sense to me. I don't think any of them are really going to make it, but maybe in LA, it's another world there, right? I always love this supposed green stuff. You follow up what they're saying, it really doesn't mean much. Well, in this case, Nikola, the company that makes the fuel cell trucks, the one that almost went bankrupt, and their stock is going down the toilet, they put out a thing. We just reached 5,000 hydrogen charging sessions in 9 months. Now, that doesn't mean they have 5,000 charging stations. They only have 5 charging stations. One is in Ontario because Walmart is trying them out, so they built one. There's one in Ontario. And guess what? There's one in Oakland, California, Long Beach, California, Santa Fe Springs, California, and one for some reason in Wilmington, California. So, outside of the one in Canada, the other 4 are all in, guess what? California. And they're bragging that they had 5,000 times charged. There's only a handful of these trucks out, right? 100 or something. These are obvious businesses that are using. For instance, the one in Ontario, that's Walmart, because they're trying out these fuel cell trucks. Now, it's a good idea if they can make it pan out economically. Shell shut other hydrogen stations down in California. They said it wasn't economically viable. But they were selling it to private individuals. And of course, there aren't that many hydrogen cars out there, so, they just said, heck with that. This is commercial stuff. Now, if you read the headlines, you think, they got 5,000 of these chargers. No, they only have 5. It's just that they did that many charges up of the vehicles that are driving around. Now, maybe someday that'll be great for commercial stuff. But they'd have to build out that hydrogen infrastructure like no tomorrow. There's 5 of these hydrogen stations in North America as it stands now for Nikola. There's approximately 200,000 gas stations in the United States, right? So they got a long way to go before this stuff becomes normal. Don't be fooled by the headlines. Here's some more electric nonsense headlines. This one says, the new craze that's spreading everywhere. These types of boats are breaking the market. And they're talking about, of course, electric boats, right? Well, I can't say they're breaking the market, but they certainly would break your bank. This particular one is called X-Shore. The X-Shore 8000 starts at $329,000, but they do have a cheaper one. It's only $100,000, which can go 30 knots and has a range of 50 nautical miles. Now, it doesn't go 50 nautical miles. Going 30 miles an hour, it'd probably go like 15 and run out. Electric motors are very inefficient at high speeds. They're great for slow little things, spinning around locations where they can plug them into the grid at 220 or 120, and they're great for instant torque, washing machines, everything. We have running electric motors, right? But they're plugged in. They're not running off of batteries. Some rich company does yachts and stuff, I guess, is buying a few of them. So he says, it's breaking the market. No, it is not breaking the market. Hey, boats are always a toy for people anyways, right? How many people have $329,000 to waste on a boat? They can't go that far. Boats go in the water. There's no charging stations in the water, right? You're stuck. You're on one of those, you're probably going to pay the Coast Guard and the local tow services to come bring you to land to charge it up. Quite a lot. Well, another large-scale battery maker has gone out of business. Flow battery maker Red Flow is out of business, and the administrators can't find anybody who'll even buy the equipment they have lying around. Now, I talked about this earlier. Flow batteries are a different type of battery. They have liquid tanks. That's why they call it flow, and a liquid flows through, and it stores electricity. And they claim that these are good for storing electricity. As you can see there, that's a big, giant panel of flow batteries they're using in this particular companies in Australia. Now, first their stock went down the toilet. On October 18th, the Flow Battery Company, which has a patent for its zinc bromide energy storage technology, ceased to trade. So they weren't trading anymore on the stock market. No more trading of it. And the head of it says, and I quote, unfortunately, we're unable to find a buyer for the business as a going concern after our campaign. Now, here's an interesting one. This company secured a contract for the largest project to date, which is 20 megawatt hour station at a microgrid in California, but It was unable to find private sources of capital to match the Australian state government subsidy. And, as they say, although we have significant commercial interests, it's now in the administrator's hands, and they went bankrupt because it's not economically viable. So, like I say, everybody's promising this stuff about electric batteries and technology, but a lot of it just isn't panning out. It's not commercially viable. And people are saying, these guys had a contract with a place in California, and they had to renege on it because they didn't have enough money. And the Australian government was paying for half of it. Now, why the Australian government would pay for half of something going on in California is beyond me, kind of nutsos. But it just goes to show you that this battery technology is still at an incipient state. It's at the very beginning. And anybody that invests in a company like that, you have lost all their money, the company's bankrupt. And if you're thinking this is going to store your energy in California, you'll be waiting till Hades freezes over because the company is now bankrupt. And nobody wants to buy them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.